good, y'all? Welcome or welcome back to my channel. This is Life with Tarynj, and it's your girl Tarynj. So by the title down below, y'all already know what we're about to be talking about. We are about to be talking about how I found out I had blood clots at 9 weeks pregnant, and how God like came through with the ones and twos, because yeah, it's really a crazy story. It really is, and it still blows my mind to this day. And I'm like in the second trimester at this point, so yeah. So without further ado, we just gonna really just jump right into it. Like, we really have to get into it. If you have not seen my pregnancy update video, make sure after you're done watching this video all the way through, and you like and you comment and you're already subscribed. Once we've already done those things, then we can go back to the pregnancy update video and familiarize yourself with what's going on, right? Or what happened. Just a little quick smidget of what took place. At 9 weeks pregnant, I was hospitalized for a week due to having 2 really nice sized blood clots in my lungs. Yeah, and if you want further updates on my pregnancy for the first trimester, that video is up right now as we speak, so go check it out after you watch this video all the way through. Okay, so y'all, wow, okay, let's get into it. So at about 9 weeks pregnant, actually, matter of fact, okay, so if y'all remember from my previous video on my pregnancy update, I talked about how I was extremely sick week 8 of my pregnancy, and my husband took me to the emergency room a couple of times because I could not keep down food. I was throwing up. It was really bad. They even had to give me some strong medication, nausea medication, which ultimately did not work. It really just put me to sleep. It was, yeah, like, it didn't work. It just made me go to bed. So that's what I was taking. Going into week 9 that weekend, which was actually Easter, yes, Easter weekend. So I remember Friday not feeling that great. I remember Saturday I really wasn't feeling that great. But mind y'all, like, I had been not feeling good for a couple of weeks at this point. I had not been feeling well for a couple of weeks at this particular point. So I'm just like, okay, like, I'm just gonna lay down and try to relax and just watch TV, because something's gotta give, and it ain't giving, and it is what it is, right? So Sunday rolls around, and no, backtrack. So Friday, Saturday, nope, let's go all the way back to Thursday. I had been feeling a pain in my side, on my right side. It was like my arm was numb, which was really weird. I just did not feel like it was like a pain. Like, the best thing I can possibly compare it to is my asthma. I have asthma. I've had asthma since I was 2. So for me, it's not a big deal. And sometimes when I'm having an asthma attack, or when I'm just not breathing the way I should be breathing, my lungs feel very tight. It's hard to get breath in. Like, it hurts. Like, it's a sharp, piercing pain. That's the only thing I've ever experienced to compare it to. So that's what it felt like. It felt like a very sharp pain in my side. And I was like, this is weird, because I knew it wasn't my asthma, for the simple fact is I could still breathe. Like, it hurt to breathe, but I could get air in, if that makes sense. Like, the air was still coming in. It was just, it wasn't like I couldn't get it in, if that, oh, this is all like, yes, baby. Yes, I could get, air in. I could, breathe, and so I knew it was my asthma at all. Like, I knew that was not it, but I was very uncomfortable. I was kind of like slouched over. There was just pain. So I want to say I laid in the bed pretty much Friday after I picked up my daughter. Or did Roy pick her up? Yeah, I think Babe picked her up from school. Or maybe I did. I don't remember. This was literally months ago. So somebody picked her up. I know she got home. That's all I know. Saturday, I was supposed to take my sister-in-law's like not graduation pictures, prom pictures. But yeah, I was in so much pain. Like I was like, I'm not gonna make it. Like if Roy didn't drive me, like it wasn't gonna happen. So then Sunday comes around. Sunday is Easter Sunday. My husband's family usually does something out in, we call it a country, which is just, you know, their lands. They have like a big few acres of land where they do something. And so that was transpiring. I knew it was gonna happen. For me, it was like, I can't go. Like, first of all, it's hot. First of all. And second of all, like, this pain, like, I don't know what this is. And I have like kind of a high tolerance when it comes to pain. Like I have a low-key high tolerance. So for me, I was trying not to complain, and I didn't want to complain and be like, oh my God, woe is me. Like I don't like doing that. But I was like, you know what, I'm gonna sit this one out. So, you know, my husband and Bailey, they went to the festivities on Sunday, and I laid in bed. Okay, I laid in bed. So I laid in the bed, and I still, like, for some reason I could not get comfortable. It didn't matter how I laid, it didn't matter what I did. Like I had to sit up, could not lay down, on my right side at all. And I just suffered, like, pretty much. It was painful. It was so painful. So my husband and Bailey, they get home, and I'm like, you know what, babe, like if this doesn't get better by the morning, I really need you to take me to the emergency room, because I don't know what's going on. I've never felt this way. I don't know if this is pregnancy related, but like my whole arm is hurting, like a numb hurting, and it hurts to breathe. Even though I'm getting the breath in, it's very tight. I don't know what's going on. So, and he was like, okay, cool, if it's still, you know, bothering you in the morning, we'll go. So that was my decision. So in the morning, wake up, I'm like almost in tears. Like I'm pretty much almost in tears. And I'm like, we need to go right now. I don't think Bailey even ended up going to school that day. I was like, we need to go right now, because I just cannot. So everybody gets dressed, we go to the emergency room, which is like within the same hospital of where I go for like my regular checkups and my OB and everything like that. So I'm inserting that so all this makes sense to y'all later on down the story. Why I mentioned that, we're going to an emergency room that, one, I've already been to. I've already established as a patient at this particular hospital, and my OB and my primary and everybody is within the same umbrella of hospital. It's not the particular same location, but it is the same hospital where all the doctors are connected. So keep that in mind. So we get there, and I'm like telling them what's been going on. They already know. They've seen me a couple of times in the ED. And so I'm established, y'all. Like, I've already been there. Of course, you know, emergency room doctors change frequently, so it's never really the same one. Of course, Bailey can't come back there, so Roy and Bailey sitting in the car while I go back there. They get me back there. I tell them what's going on or whatever. They know I'm pregnant. I think they had already, like, yeah, I have an IV. They're giving me liquids because they already know that I haven't been keeping food down. I haven't been able to eat. So they're like, okay, part of her is dehydrated for sure because she hasn't been able to eat or drink. So I'm getting liquids. I think they gave me something for pain. I don't remember what it is. I'm pretty sure it was a narcotic they gave me for pain. And they are basically, the doctor, y'all, this is how I know it was all God. The doctor ran every single test he could. Because I'm pregnant, like, there's certain things he can't do. Well, you know, he didn't want to do because I'm pregnant. But he ran every single test he possibly could. And he was like, okay, towards the end, mind you, we've been here hours. I've been there hours. And, you know, Babe and Bailey been in the car. So towards the end of us being there, he's like, comes in the room and he's like, okay, Mrs. Jones, we've ran this test, that test. I'm not sure, but I feel like it's potentially a blood clot. Or it could be because of, you know, the sickle cell trait. So you could be going into a crisis right now. And because you're pregnant, that's why you're going into a crisis. Because the sickle cell trait, of course, you know, you don't necessarily have sickle cells, so you wouldn't be like going into a crisis without other factors. So he was like, it's either a blood clot or a sickle cell trait. Because something, I forgot what they tested, but something in whatever they tested was extremely high, and it was like, okay, something's wrong. Like, so that's what he chucked it up to. He was like, blood clot, sickle cell crisis. And so I was like, okay. And so he was like, we could do a, what is it called? I forgot what kind of scan it is, but potentially, like, he didn't originally want to do it because it's so much radiation, like, towards your body. And I'm pregnant, so radiation is not good for you. So he was like, I need you to make a decision. Like, honestly, I don't feel comfortable letting you go home at all until we do this, you know. What is it called? It's not an x-ray. If I think of the word, I'll put it up here, but it's not an x-ray. He was like, I do not feel comfortable sending you home. I really would like to do this, but I need your consent to do this. But I highly recommend it, because if we send you home and it is a blood clot, I don't want to go down that, you know, path or whatever. So at this point, I'm low-key freaking out, because what you mean? Like, but at the same time, I'm really registering in my mind that this is a sickle cell crisis, and it's because I'm pregnant and everything's thrown off. Even though with my daughter, my first daughter, Bailey, when I got pregnant, I didn't have a crisis, I didn't have anything, like, nothing was really wrong. But again, y'all, I was 19, like, come on, I'm 19. Nothing really is ever wrong at that age, like, health-wise. So I'm like, okay, I don't know, I really don't want to put the baby through all that radiation, but, you know, if this does not get figured out and it is potentially a blood clot, that's me and the baby. Like, it's a wrap. So I call my husband. He comes in with Bailey. The doctor talks to him, and he's like, yeah, like, let's do it. Like, I understand, but at the same time, like, I think you should do it, so let's do it. So we do it. They take me, they do whatever scan, I forgot the name of the thing. They do that, and I want to say we waited like another 30 minutes, hour, something like that. And I kid y'all not, I was really thinking, okay, yeah, it's just a sickle cell crisis. There's really nothing they can do about that. They're gonna send us home, you know, it's whatever. Cool. Not cool, but like, there's nothing we can do. So the doctor comes back and he was like, you know, I don't know, it was just divine that you came in. It was divine that, you know, oh, actually, roll back the tape, because I'm forgetting some very important information. So mind you, like I previously said, I went to a doctor. Well, I went to the ED that is a part of my doctor's office, if that makes sense, you know, the umbrella. And he wanted to do this test, and you know, he's not an OB, he's an emergency room doctor. OB is not his, you know, specialty. So he called the OD department, and my actual doctor, OB, that I had not seen yet, I was scheduled to see her later on that month, she is the one who answered the call. And it was pretty much God. Like, that was divine that my OB was like, and they didn't know it at the time until after they started looking around at the records, like, oh wow, like, wait, this is actually your patient that you're going to see, that I'm seeing right now. So let me establish that he talked to her before he came in the room, telling me that he really thinks we should do this, you know, scan. I keep saying scan, but I feel like that's really the wrong word. And it's not an x-ray. Is it a CAT scan? It might be a CAT scan. I think it's a CAT scan. I don't remember. That's all before he comes in the room. That's all before, you know, I call Roy in there and everything like that. So he gets the results back, and he's like, okay, it's a blood clot in your right lung. That's why you've been feeling this pain. You know, and actually come to find out, the OB I spoke to is who you are going to see at the end of the month, who you already have an appointment with. And I was just like, what? Like, I'm like overwhelmed, like, but in shock and a little high because they didn't give me, you know, narcotic. And I'm just like, what's going on? Like, what you mean? Like, me? No, like, what you just say? So he's explaining it to me, but again, it is overwhelming because I'm already not feeling the best, and to be hit with that is just like a blow. So yeah, we're just sitting there, and he was like, so you're gonna have to be on a blood thinner for the remainder of your pregnancy, and because you are pregnant, it's going to have to be an injection. For right now, it will be in your stomach. You'll take the injection twice a day. And my mind is like, what? Like, it's overload of like literally what happened. Like, I came in here and my life was like low-key normal that I knew about, that I was aware of, and I'm leaving and it's like, it's not. So it was a lot. So he's telling me this, and he was like, and what I'm gonna go ahead and do is we're gonna keep you, you know, for a few nights just to monitor, make sure that, you know, the blood thinner is working, this, that, and the third. And I'm just like, okay, all right, cool. Is this, what's going on? So it was a lot. It was a lot to take in, it was a lot to digest. And he was like, you know, I know this was like a divine, like you had a divine intervention. Like, I can't even explain the fact that you came in here, that we were able to even, that you even had the pain of a blood clot like that for us to even find. And then we find it, and then I talked to the OB that you are about to see, because mind you, I hadn't even met my OB yet. Like, I did not know her, didn't know what she looked like, nothing like that. I just knew that I was going to go see her at the end of the month, and we're like still in the beginning of the month, low-key. So he was like, it was divine intervention. I'm just like, it was Jesus. Like, you cannot tell me this was not Jesus. He wasn't looking out, he wasn't you know, Jesus gonna spin the block about me. That's what I do know. I cannot stand when people are like, oh, you know, I want to be a part of Christ, but you know, you're a little too much, you do it too much. And I'm just like, I'm doing too much. Like, you know what Jesus did for me? You don't have an idea, an inkling, a thought process of what Jesus has done for me. For me to sit here and be quiet and not tell y'all what he did. Like, I'm gonna be loud about it. I'm not bragging, because what he did for me, he could do for you. But what I'm letting be known is he spin the block for me. And there's been multiple occasions where he's done this. Like, you cannot tell me otherwise. You just can't. Like, I remember, and I don't think this clip made it into that particular video, but there is a video, I'm gonna try to link it down below, where I went with y'all, or I took y'all to my follow-up appointment after I got out the hospital. And I remember just sitting there, and she's talking to me, and the way she's looking at me, my PCP is looking at me like, girl, you almost was out of here. Like, and she's like, I'm so relieved and happy that you're sitting here, right now. Like, you have no idea, because a lot of women, a lot of people don't discover the blood clots, and they're out of here, so that, y'all, that when she said that, and she didn't use that exact verbiage, that's not verbatim, but she basically, was like, I'm just so relieved, like, this was discovered. When she said that, that really was like even more of an eye-opener, because I think I was like a little bit numb to the fact of what all took place in a short span of time, like 7 days. Literally 7 days, all that took place. And my mind was just blown. Like, even to this day, it still kind of blows my mind of what all just took place. But you can't tell me Jesus is not real. You can't tell me that he doesn't, that he doesn't know or whatever. And what's even crazier and not ironic, divine, is I want to say I talked to Bailey's grandma, and she was like, her daughter, Bailey's aunt, she's a seer. Like, she sees things. Like, God gives her visions of, things. And she told her, she was like, Mom, I don't know why, but I just had a dream that, Tarynj was in the hospital. And literally, I talked to Bailey's grandma. She called me, not because she thought, I was in the hospital or anything, but it was just like, just conversation, because that's what we have sometimes. And she was like, sorry if the quality changed. My camera ran out of space, and yeah, so I'm using my phone. So if it look a little different, don't mind that. So yeah, she was like, I don't know why, but I saw that Tarynj was in the hospital. And so, and that had been like a couple of weeks before I actually was in the hospital. And so, mind you, like I said, Bailey's grandma, sometimes we just have conversation, because I've known this woman like pretty much a decade, and her granddaughter is my daughter. So we just have like regular conversations. And so she didn't know when she called me that I was in the actual hospital. She just was calling to have a conversation. So yeah, y'all, that's how I found out that I had 2 blood clots in my lungs. And that just shows like how God he's real, y'all. He is so real. I've experienced things during this pregnancy that I just never thought was ever gonna happen. I guess in my mind, I thought this pregnancy was gonna be smooth. I thought it was gonna be perfect. I thought, oh, there's not gonna be no issues, because one thing I do know, God restores time and restores things, right? So experiences that did not go well or were not happy or pleasant prior to, he can restore them, right? So for example, my first pregnancy, with my first daughter, was horrible. Not in the sense of there was issues with my pregnancy. There was no issues with my pregnancy. I was completely healthy. I was not high risk. Like, my daughter came out perfect, and you know, we didn't have no nothing. But it was still a bad experience because the way I was being treated by my, you know, husband at that time, you know, because we're divorced. It was a very bad experience. And I went through a lot of things. And one thing I know, God, he's a redeemer. He's a restorer. So I was like, okay, God, you're a redeemer. You're a restorer. I know this second pregnancy is about to be perfect. And whole time I'm thinking, like, I had no complications with my first daughter. I'm not going to have any complications with this one. And I know my husband, like, my husband is, he's amazing. Like, come on now. Like, he's amazing. So that was my mindset. And even like after I, you know, got pregnant and all those things started happening to me, I was like, God, like, this is not what I signed up for. Like, what's going on? You're a redeemer. You're a restorer. Like I started questioning God, and I had to repent because he showed me, like, Tarynj, like, you not seeing it. Like, remember the things that your ex-husband took you through during your pregnancy with, you know, Bailey? Remember, like, all the tears you shed, the brokenheartedness, all of that? You remember that? I'm just like, okay. yeah, Jesus, I remember. And he was like, okay, so look at the situation now. Yes, there have been some health complications, and that's not what you expected. This pregnancy, you didn't expect no, you know, complications in that sense. But look how your husband's treating you. Like, you a queen. What I didn't restore. And I was like, he right. Well, he didn't restore. He restored it. Yeah, I didn't have no health complications with my first baby. Yeah, I'm having a little bumps in the road with this one. But he restored. He restored, because the way my husband don't play about me and these kids. He just don't. He do not play about me and these kids. And the way he has, I'm going to just be honest in this video, the way my first husband treated me when I was pregnant, just, it showed a lot. It showed a lot. And I don't want to speak negatively on him, because at the end of the day, we were both super young. We got married at 19. We were having a baby by 20. Like, no one really knew any better. So I don't want to sit there and make him seem like a bad person, because honestly, y'all, he's not a bad person. It was just life lessons, okay? Because I wasn't perfect either. So, you know, but with my husband, you know, my husband who God clearly ordained us to be together, y'all, he shows up and shows out for me and my kids and our kids. He show up and show out. And I could not ask for a better husband. How he's been, you know, with each trial and test, he moves up a level. He don't revert back and do worse. Like, he do better. Like, it just level up. And I could not ask for better. I really can't. So, and I hope this is making sense. Like, I feel like this is supposed to touch who is meant to touch. And also me giving y'all information on, you know, potentially catching blood clots while you're pregnant. So it is important to be moving around, because I did not do that. But I was also very sick. So, yeah, God was just like, so what did not restore? Please point it out. And so he corrected me on that. I was like, okay, you actually did restore. Because my husband don't play about me and his kids. Period. He just don't. I could not ask for, like, is this a circumstance? Like, I wanted my pregnancy to be difficult? No, did not. But did he show up and show out when things got tough? He did that. Without a question, without a doubt, without hesitation. He did that. So, like I said, I hope this blessed someone. I hope this encouraged someone. Make sure you are subscribed. Make sure you like this video. Make sure you share this video. Share this video with somebody, okay? They need it. Y'all stay blessed. Y'all stay encouraged. Y'all stay in the word, honey.